In this session, we have the topic for discussion is Inculcation of Indian Values and Ethos among Youth, Challenges before National Education Policy 2022. We have with us Dr. Arun Kumar Rath, who will chair this session, and Dr. Sujata Sahu, Dr. Jibitesh Rath, Professor Dindayal Swain and Prakash Das. And now we'll start this session of Indian Values and Ethos among Youth, Challenges before National Education Policy 2020.
Very good morning to everybody. I think it's a fast session, so we are fresh in mind. So when you talk about values and ethics, it will go, it's an inner feeling and feeling good factor. Just to start, our very eminent lead speaker, Dr. Rath, I will just 1 minute, with his permission. The 4 panelists, I will do the work of moderator. They are not new to this field, but what the beauty, only one sentence of each speaker, the beauty of Dr. Rath is he is the architect of NEP, National Education Policy 2020. When he was the secretary of, at that time, Minister of HRD, now it is Minister of Education, in 2009, this Right to Compulsory Education Act. I know the details, but there is no time to tell. But he went to meet the Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, to get this act passed by Parliament. Imagine the passion, the involvement, and that act is now part and parcel of NEP 2020. That's the beauty. Second beauty of Madam, principal of, she is the practitioner. I just know her today, the practitioner. You know the biodata, but she will talk about what she is, like DAV school principal. DAV is famous for values and ethics, you know, the Anglo-Vedic, all these things, and that she will focus on this secondary education, which is the boarding stage of all the youth. She will focus on that, apart from talking this. Then Dindayal, a very good friend of mine, and he is a very sought after speaker, and he is a motivational speaker. He is the Dean of Management Studies, Sri University. Again, no, Ravi Shankar. You know the background, you know, and the topic. Biodata in the book I will not tell. Last is Prakash Das. Prakash Das, what is the specialty in this panel? He is from corporate background, but as a general manager, HR and town administration of Raulkela Steel Plant, all the schools, Raulkela Steel Plant itself is a mini state, mini India. All the schools are under his control and he was closely associated the implementation of policy like a laboratory. The schools, and as HRD, head, Human Resource Development, like me, I was the Chief General Manager NMDC, Hyderabad, HR head. So HR head, he will see the young pass out from the university and colleges, just joining at the threshold of the life career, that he has trained them, their mind, that part he will deal. And me, what is left, after Dr. Rath will speak, his versatile speaker, nothing will be left. But for me, I will tell only one aspect, that is the NEP, that's Anganwadi, that +3, because I was in Dantewada or Bastar, the remote area of India for 10 years, looking after the DAV schools, 8 DAV schools under an MDC. I saw that age group, 3 to 5, with the new feature of a new education policy, 3 to 5, 3 to 6, that group, those who have no malnutrition, all the things, what is the impact of values and ethics after they pass out, after they join class 1, this childhood period. That part I may touch. With this, sir, I request Dr. Rath, because all are waiting to listen to him, to start the proceeding and address the gathering.
Namaskar, good morning. Thank you, Dr. Jibitesh, Dr. Sujata, Dr. Dindayal Sahu, Prakash Babu. I'll use both Odia and English as I feel comfortable. Now, let me tell you, I must compliment Manu Babu, who is not here, I think, for being very bold. He's a bold person. Many of us are not as bold as he is. I think we should learn from him. 7th festival in the heart of Odisha is not a small thing. It's a very, very major achievement. And when you praise somebody behind the back, you mean it sincerely. So give a big hand to him in absentia. Now we are having very short time. Already we are behind time. Dr. Sujata has to go. I also have to go. Both have programs after this. And today I am reminded of Manu Babu has come. So already in your absence here, we have already praised you. Praising somebody behind the back is true praise. So we have praised you a lot. Now, I am reminded of an event in the University of Birmingham, I think in 20 years back. I was invited for a talk on my research on corporate governance. And as I entered the room, I found only 12 persons, 12 in the room. I was totally disheartened because I had just gone from Delhi where I had similar occasion to address 200 people. And India 200 and you get 12 people. So just I told my friend who was professor there, why such a small audience? He said, sir, we get about 8 or 10 sometimes. Because you are coming from India, we have 12. It's a very good number. But I tell you, after my 1 hour presentation, Odia kahile, they asked me questions. Odia kahile se pani piye dele. 12 jon, because they are global experts. All are global experts. So the audience is very important. People are here. Each one of you is an expert in your field. I met some of you. You are very knowledgeable experts. And I would request you to enrich the session like the Birmingham event with your experience. Now, I will speak for about 10 minutes, a little more. We have so many speakers. They are all knowledgeable persons in the field. Now, I'll again give an anecdote which happened only last month, exactly on 31st of October in New Delhi, again New Delhi. I got a national award. It is Paul Appleby Award for Public Administration of IP. And there, after the award, there was an event. Event was a kind of a seminar. Am I audible? Seminar on India emerging as a global leader. Very good seminar, very good topic. I mean, on 75th anniversary of India's independence, we're having a Indian Institute of Public Administration, New Delhi, having this seminar. So I was asked to speak after some speakers. Speakers before me eulogize India. Oh, India is great, India is great. We have reached the moon, we have reached the Mars, we have nuclear power, space power, this power, that power, demographic divide, young nation, all the positive things. Largest contribution to the UN peacekeeping force is India's. I mean, something to be proud of. Consistently, India is contributing largest soldiers to UN peacekeeping force. People don't know, but it's a great achievement. So then I was asked to speak. So I said, I have just got the award. Should I say something negative, positive? So it was very, very difficult for me. But I said, I must tell the truth, which I know. And I told that. But people liked it. What I told is that, yes, we are all proud Indians. We are all proud to see India become a Vishwa Guru. India should be the leader, should be the teacher of the entire world, should be Vishwa Guru. But friends, with all our achievements, we are not going to become a global leader unless we do certain things. So suspense was there. What is that India should do? Now they talk about all these things, soft diplomacy, this diplomacy, that Ukraine war, all. That's fine, everything is fine. But come to ground. If you want to be a world power, come to ground and see where you stand. And I will tell you, not to dishearten you, not to disillusion you about India, I'm proud Indian like you, but to tell you which way to go. And I said simple, very commonsensical facts I'll give you before you, and you judge whether India is on the right track. India has potential, but has it become already? It has not already become, but can become. I said, look, one indicator I'll give you, that if you take 5 Indians, average 5 Indians, one of them is illiterate. 20% of Indians are illiterate after 75 years of independence. Amrit Mahotsav, ठीक है, all right. But every 5th Indian is illiterate. And you say you're a global power? Can you become? Your health indicators, fortunately because of COVID, our spending on education, health has gone up. But health, very poor indicator. Your global rating on many aspects is very poor. So I come back to education. Say education, if you go to any world power, any developed country, small indicators, how much they spend on education as percentage of GDP, that's good indicator. Again, I go back to same what Dr. Jibitesh Rath was telling, right to education. I remember 16th December 2008, I remember the date. 16 December 2008 was the day when Indian Parliament accepted for the first time a bill to make education a fundamental right of every child. That day, fortunately, I was in Oslo, the capital of Norway, attending a global conference on UNESCO. And I got a chance. I got the message from New Delhi that at last, which I had piloted myself, it was waiting to come to Parliament. Minister introduced the Parliament. I got a message. I announced that India has now, because they were debated, that India is a big country. Why the right of children is not given? Small countries are given. I met British guy, we have given 10 years back. Fiji, 20 years back. So India was holding the children's right when all have done around the world. I announced, you don't believe it. They clapped and said, India is now going to become a developed country by this single act. Friends, this is importance of education. We should realize, often I say, we give lip service to education, like all must be educated, but no budget, no money, no funds. When something is to cut education, health. That is the lip service you give, and that is the difference between a great nation and an emerging nation. So today, you'll be surprised to know that every great nation is spending, every powerful nation, 6% plus of their GDP on education. We are spending 3.5, 4. So that is the difference. You can see, we are a poor country. Yes, we are a poor country, but that's true. But 75 years have passed. You cannot keep the people, the children, the youth away from education. So that's a point number one, that we have to insist on national commitment to education. Now again in 2009, when the bill was introduced and passed by Parliament, I was both happy and unhappy. I was happy because something has come, 8 years of compulsory schooling. But I wanted 12 years of compulsory schooling, because from class 1 to class 8, if you make every Indian 8 pass, not a big achievement. But something is there. Now, what I could not do in 2008 or 9, I'm happy that the national education policy of 2020 has done and gone beyond. What my dream was to make 12 years of compulsory education, the NEP 2020 has made it 15 years of compulsory education. 15 years. That means class 1 to class 12, compulsory for every child, free and compulsory, and before class 1, 3 years of preschool education, again compulsory by law. That means if NEP, and fortunately NEP has been accepted by the Indian cabinet, so it's now as good as a law. They have to go to parliament maybe sometimes to amend it. Right? So make it 15 years of schooling. That will make India on way to become a global leader. I should say not yet, but we can be if we work on right direction. Now, so coming to the NEP 2020, time is running out. I have to run through. Now, this is a revolutionary policy. We have 3 policies, 1968, Kothari Commission, 1992, Ramurthy Commission, and this one is Kasturirangan Commission. All experts, all great experts in this commission. And they have something, give something, it's really visionary. When I read document, I said, no, impossible. India cannot do it. It's too much for India. It was too ambitious, too forward-looking. In fact, people asked me that why such an ambitious policy has been adopted by India, which is not possible to achieve. I said, look, we have 2 choices. Go for patchwork, or do something here and then, stitching here and there, patchwork, or do total overhaul. Now, what NEP has done is that not what India can do. India can do small things, but India should do big things. NEP has given India a vision to do big things, not small things. In education, that is the difference. I said, look, should we go for patchwork, some stitching here and there, or go for a big leap? Any country which is poor in education cannot be a global leader. Take it from me, and you can understand also. So that is the major revolution that NEP 2020 is bringing about, and it is quietly happening. There is no fanfare, no beating of drums, because first of all, Union Cabinet accepted it, number 1. And things are coming. I was surprised. I went to Delhi University and the ODIA students there. Oh, we are doing this. I said, already done in 2 years' time. Like like example, in the graduation, you do first year and get a certificate. You can quit. You need not do 3-year course of graduation. You can do second year and get a diploma. You can quit. You can do third year and get a degree. You can quit and come back. The flexibility, which is because now, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I have joined the BA degree. Oh my God, 3 years, I don't know what to do. Waste of time. No, you leave. 1 year you do and leave. Get a diploma, study certificate. Market may take a certificate from you and give a job to you. So that's great flexibility, great innovation. Around the world is happening. Then you can go to after first year, you can go to any place. Take your credits and go there. Transfer of credits. This. But time is running out. I must say one thing which is a great revolution. Teachers. Not because they are on strike across the road, for it's all a great problem. Not because of that. I'm not talking of teacher strike at all. I'm talking of what a teacher's role should be in education. We've heard about Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, all this, all kinds of. But are you doing it? Have you done it? Now, NEP has done it. 2 sentences of NEP. I'll quote here. It says, the best and brightest student must be teacher. Not IAS, not engineer, not doctor. Teacher. Madam Dr. Sahu is here, she'll agree. Madam Sujata Madam is here. Best and brightest is a line accepted by the government of India. The best and brightest must be teachers. 1. 2. Then is a lip service? No. 2. Not lip service. They must get the highest pay. Both matching, not lip service. So they mean what they say. So if you do these two things, all the young people will become teachers. All the bright young people will become teachers. Because I know, Dr. Sujata knows, when I interview teacher candidates, I realize these are the people who are going to teach in the school. If they are weak, entire foundation of generations is weak, whether physics, mathematics, English. So I realized that what great thing NEP has done. The person before you being interviewed must be the best and brightest. Otherwise, no point sending him to school. Liability. So I think it has done a great thing. I'll take 2 minutes time. Now, Sanskrit and Odia. All languages. Odia is a classical language. Sanskrit and Odia will get a pride of place. And Odia being used in the primary school. I think every regional language must be used in the primary school. And today's topic about youth. Indian heritage, Indian ethos, Indian values have been brought center stage. That this is the way to move forward. I'll say if NEP is implemented, I have no doubt, within 5-10 years' time, slowly India is catching up. If it is done, then we must get the end of the cursed Macaulay era. Macaulay, quote unquote, why he's called Lord, I don't know. We shouldn't call him Lord. People call him Lord Macaulay. He's not Lord. He's a devil for India. What he did, he systematically decimated Indian culture and education system. Because he said, no, we want people to be slaves. So gradually, in a roundabout way, damage their culture, damage their education. Then they will be Indian in body, but British in mind. That's a tremendous monster they created. And believe me, we have all passed through the system of education. This is the departure which NEP 2020 is going to make the last nail on the coffin of Macaulay era of colonial rule. In a hiding way, in a small way, still having many symptoms. But this will end the most condemned Macaulay. And big India to center India's values, Indian education. Nachiketa said, Nachiketa went to heaven in body. Yama asked me, what do you want? I said, I want knowledge. No, knowledge. What happens to man after death? What happens after death? Don't ask this. Yama said, no, this question I can tell you. No, you are a teacher. You are my teacher. You promised. Yama was very happy. Oh, this student is a very bright student. But no, this I can't give because all the gods don't know. You take gold, you take jewelry, you take land. No, I don't need that. I want knowledge. India, this is the Indian value. Not gold, not materialism, but spiritualism. And there are many management experts maybe. We have heard about IQ. 20, 30 years back, they've got a great management professor. You'll say, IQ is required, intelligent quotient, for success in life. Then the person, no, IQ is okay, but EQ is required also. Emotional quotient, again, Dr. Swain knows. IQ and EQ. Now, India has added a new dimension. SQ is spiritual quotient. which is not available. All the management education, all the universities is now adding IQ, EQ and SQ, the spiritual quotient. I'll end in a minute by saying that why SQ comes? Because there's vacuum in the mind of youth. The vacuum is created by three great scientists. Darwin said, oh, man is nothing. Man is just an ape or a orangutan. Man is nothing. What is man? He demystified the divine theory of man. Then came Marx. Oh, Marx said religion is opium. Don't go to religion. Forget religion. Again demystified. Then Freud came. Oh, mind is a machine. Just neurons, nothing else. So, three great scientists, they are scientists. Facts. But a vacuum was created in the mind. Then what are we? Then India showed the way. Aurobindo, Vivekananda. No, you are a divine person. Man is divine. You are not just from apes or not, your mind is not it's a machine. It's much more than that. So the spiritual part is coming back. And this is what the youth must be told to build up Indian ethos. I'm happy that many of the universities and B schools are introducing separate course on Indian ethos. I'm teaching one in the IIM Nagpur, Indian ethos, first time. And the students are very happy. They said, sir, this course was not given to us earlier. We're giving it. So this is the difference we can make in the NEP 2020. I've taken too much time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, sir. I think we have started with a very strong grounding of what is the values, what is the ethos, what is the NEP 2020. So now I would request Madam Sahu, because Dayananda Anglo-Vedic background, every day they start with the prayers, Sohanam, Bhavantu, Sravan, Sukhantu, Karaba. All these things, no, Vedic rhyme. Vedic is a secular text, it's not like a Hindu or other things. So in that background, Madam will speak now, what is the focus of values and ethics vis-a-vis NEP 2020, because in India especially, Odisha is part of India, we are suffering from deficit in values and ethics among the youth. Madam, please address the focusing on the secondary education and the primary education, both are there. So from the implementer point of view, she will tell us, highlight this audience.
Namaskar to each one of you. Before I speak anything, let me express my gratitude to the organizing committee of Odisha Art and Literature Festival 2020 for fostering a love for literature and writing in the youth, and also giving me an opportunity to express my views on inculcation of Indian values and ethos among youth, challenges before NEP 2020. When I thought of this topic, I was expecting a young mass. But the audience who is sitting right in front of me, they're all veterans, they're all seasoned, they know much more than what I know about Indian ethos and values. So I'll be just sharing my experience as a school teacher. When we were students in our school, and before we joined the school, we had learned some of the values and ethos from our families, because the joint family system was there. Along with our parents, we learned values from our grandparents, from our siblings, from our cousins. And now the concept of joint family system is no more there. It's a nuclear family. And even in that nuclear family, that one child syndrome is also there. So those children, they don't know what is sharing and what is caring. So we are to be blamed for it. And those type of children, when they come to school, So a lot of expectation from the parents that the school will take the onus of inculcating these values among these young children. Now there is a difference between inculcating and teaching values. Values cannot be taught, it can only be caught. So when they come to school, if you see the early childhood care, sir has already spoken about the various commissions and NEP 2020, the thrust area and all. So the early childhood care, when they come to school, education is not about learning. It is only about inculcating values of discipline, punctuality, how to save time, how to pay respect, how to take permission when you enter a class, and all these things. Learning comes at a later stage because it was believed that once you inculcate all these habits among the children, automatically once when develop a respect for the school, for the teachers, then they will definitely learn. That was a belief. Until now also, if you see in the early childhood care and all, the morning assembly is there, where the thought, where the message, where the teacher speaks about human values and all, and the children listen to it. And very nicely they will try to follow it. Slowly when those children grow up, you will find a sea change. Some of the young friends are sitting over here. They must have also undergone this. Slowly when they come to class 9, 10 and 11 and 12, they understand that whatever values they have learned, they do not follow it. If you see, if someone comes to your home, or even in our own schools we see the difference when a lower class child, say class 3, 4, 5, they comes and greet the children, teachers, they touch the feet of the teachers and say, good morning ma'am, good morning sir. In the same light, if you see a higher class student, say of 9 and 10, his hand will not go below the knees of the teacher. Why is the difference? Who is responsible for this? In fact, I even tried to ask some of my own students, ma'am, it is nothing, it is just like that. Because they have been used to everything fast, fast moving, fast food, fast studies. They don't want to go through the process of whole 1 year. If time would have permitted, if the system would have permitted, then within 3 to 4 months they could have completed their studies and they would have gone out of the school system. They have been born in the 21st century with mobiles and technology. So they are not to be blamed. The onus lies in us. How are we going to build the gap? How are we going to take care of them, the transition which they are coming? And on top of that, this 2 years of pandemic has robbed many things. When we opened the schools in offline mode, we found children were very, very restless. They were not willing to come to school. Parents had a tough time. They want that let the school come to the home. The way it was taught, everything was shared in the WhatsApp. We were taking our classes from our own bedroom. Why can't that happen? Why can't it be carried forward? So this was the scenario which is happening now. And so everybody has realized that how important has become our Indian values and ethos. Our Indian values and ethos are recognized globally. And we need to take care of it. We need to carry forward. We should not only preserve and nurture it, but also it has to be enhanced. It has to be used in a school system. It is not that values were not there, we were not teaching. Even when we were in schools, we were taught the values and all. But now what NEP talks, 2020 talks about is that including value education in our curriculum. And when we talk about value education and curriculum, it's not talking about to teach value education in isolation. Along with the subjects, science, maths, languages, sports, music, everything, you have to inbuild value education while you are teaching the content. Let's say I'm giving an example when we are teaching business studies to the +2 commerce students, along with the strategies and planning and all, we need to teach them the ethics of a good business person. In that way, we can avoid corruption. So who is going to take this? It is the teachers who are going to take forward. And are the teachers trained? Are they sensitized? So NEP talks about a whole lot of training. The training for the teachers will be totally revamped. And already it has started. We have started. If you think about your school days, the library room, it used to be in one place where you are supposed to go in silence to the library room, read the books, keep the books back and come back. But nowadays, the library is no more a library room. It is a living room, they say, where a lot of activities happen. It's not only reading books, it is about conducting activities, creating role play. So many things are happening. And secondly, if you see, there are many places in our schools, maybe small corners, which we have never thought about it. Now with NEP 2020, the time has come to revamp those areas and create spaces for this young mass to do something. Maybe give them a project, let them do it. They don't want to be confined to the four walls of the classroom. Nowadays, what they want to come out of the classrooms and do something in the open field. Libraries should be opened beyond the school hours, where the students can be encouraged to do research work, project work, because nowadays, whatever the projects and all it is given, everything is available at the tip of the finger. Or nowadays, it is available in the open market also. And then, NEP says we have to give gradings on the various skills and everything. So the parents have no other choice but to purchase those projects and submit it to the class teacher. So we have to avoid all those things and allow the children to prepare the projects in the school itself, beyond the school hours. So in that way, we will be inculcating values and ethos. Yes, something you have done, and in that process, you have learned something. So inculcating values and ethos in the school, there are optimum number of ways. You have to explore it, you have to find it out, and you have to channelize the energy of this young mass. Like today, if you see, why many young mass is not here in this auditorium? Maybe it was not quite challenging for them. Maybe they thought not many activities will be going on. But if you organize a magic show here, you will see this house full. So now students want something lively should go on. Something which is of use to them. Most of them ape the Western culture because everything is available. They can communicate with each other at any place. And so they want that if the Western culture, if they can ape it, then they will be like foreigners. So at that point of time, they forget our Indian cultures and values and ethos. That is why more number of old age homes are there. It's really a pity. So we have not forgotten to teach our children how to take care of the parents. So if you go on speaking, it will be endless. I've got many experience. And we are trying to teach our children how we can inculcate these values and ethos. India is rich with so many values and ethos. Our own epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, has explicit instances how to carry yourself. So now, it is time to ponder how we can create an awareness, how we can highlight the importance, and how we can value our own values and system. Sir has already spoken about IQ, EQ, SQ also sir has spoken about it. There's another SQ called social quotient. There's another Q called patriotic quotient, PQ, and another, the most important thing is HQ, it is happiness quotient. The youth in this rat race competition have forgotten how to smile. If you ask them, everybody is in a tense. Tense for what? Tense for getting marks. Because that is what the parents expect, the school expects, the teachers expect. So they have sacrificed the happiness to this marks. So the time has come, all of us jointly have to revive that happiness in our youth. If students are happy, children are happy, then our nation will be happy. With this, I thank you all for giving me an opportunity.
She has presented what is the mindset of the boarding future citizens in their formative stage, okay? But madam, I can tell you that Western culture, there are many good points. We should imitate Western culture, there are good points. Like I used to go last 5 years, every year, Europe and America, I stayed there, children, I see. The punctuality, the dignity of labor, it is far, far better than India. So India, we have values. Values is flexible to me, but ethos, ethics, not ethos, ethics cannot be flexible. There is good ethics, there can be a bad ethics. What I understand when you talk about values and ethics. The time is short, next speaker will be Professor Dindayal Swain. I will request him because of his background. He was in Chennai a few months back, a director of a management institute, prestigious management institute. Now he is director, dean of management at Sri Sri University. But one thing, when we speak, I request, Madam has told about up to +2 stage. No? In NEP, the new curriculum, if it come after 2-3 years, it is in some private universities, they have started implementing. Government universities yet to start. So MBA students who are the verge of joining the mainstream of the society, if they are not, because sir remembers in 2017 December, we both, Dr. Rath and myself, we both are at Tiruchirappalli IIM, international conference. This topic was there. There are 10 directors of IIMs, and all students and faculty. I asked a question that about values and ethics. There is business ethics. In management, there is a course, business ethics. But business ethics is not ethics per se to me. I am from that background. I asked one faculty, senior faculty professor lady told that yes, we have business ethics, we teach them values and ethics. But no, as a senior GM HR, when I see the students, new recruits, they are poor in values and ethics. They see that how to achieve target at any cost, how to, that work-life balance, they don't know how to do, lot of things happening. In that perspective, sir, professor, you please address that what's the curriculum should be there in NEP 2020 perspective. When they should join the mainstream of the society, they will be well equipped in EQ, SQ, all Qs. No? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jibitesh. Good morning, namaskar to all of you. I represent Faculty of Management Studies, Sri Sri University. My name is Dindayal Swain, as you know. So I am a PhD from Central University and a Columbia Business School alumni executive program. Dr. Rath is my mentor. He has already spoken about everything and he is a master speaker. When he goes to the stage, he covers everything and he sets the tone right for everybody. Dr. Sahu spoke, she is an outstanding teacher in the area of school education and all those, even in higher education. Dr. Das, he comes from a tremendous experience. So what I'll do, my talk will be for 4 minutes. 2 minutes I will do soft side and 2 minutes is the domain specific NEP. I'll talk about higher education. I'll give you a few datas to ponder. You take a call. I will not give my opinion. which one is right, which one is wrong, because already the master speaker, Dr. Rath, has given, he's the architect of this NEP policy, so he knows much, much better than anyone else, because he has gone through, he started the process, founded the process, gone through the process, he's seen the progress. So what I will try to do is that I will give you my perspective and few numbers. Now, before we start, we will do a small yoga. Not the pure yoga, but management yoga. So just follow me, and it's 20 seconds. Do like this, if you don't mind. Those who are sitting, close to each other, be careful. Don't touch anybody. So just do like this. Just follow me quickly. Just follow me. Whatever. Just 20 seconds. Very easy. Just do like this. Do like this. Everybody, you will enjoy this. Do like this. Do like this. Do like this. Quickly. Do like this. 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 Touch your chin. No, I said chin. Chin is this. So what happened? So people follow leaders by their action, not by words. So whether it is national education policy or child education, it's all about action. It's not about words. Many things can be spoken, but how do you practice that? Do you have the clarity in your thought process? That is very important. So today is a different session. I have told you 4 minutes, so I'll not take much. The whole problem lies in our society is lack of clarity. Whether you talk about success, failure or anything, I don't know, those definitions are different. The day people will be able to answer a question, who am I? Mukiye, mueti kahinki, 99% problem will be over. Even after 60, sometimes you ponder, if I will get rebirth, I will live my life in a different way, not the way I did it. Because people don't have clarity, even after 60, 70, 80. And sometimes you will see, at the age of 20, somebody has clarity. He exactly or she exactly know what I'm supposed to do. Because as madam said, this is information era. Everybody is into mobile, selfie, picture, photograph, running. Husband, wife are not taking food together. Kids are moving somewhere else. Kids are taking food, So this whole thing is hodgepodge. So because, we have lost that clarity. So I'll stop there. So number one is who am I and clarity. And people follow actions, not words. So I'll stop there. Part one is over. Part two is, now when he talked about Dr. Rath, Dr. Jibitesh, NEP in higher education, let me give you some figures. We have got 40,000 colleges, more than 1,000 universities. So combined together, if you see 60,000, and we are number 3 in the world. Right now, we will be going to be number 2. If you talk about scale, number 2 behind China. But as Dr. Arun Kumar sir was talking about, our investment in research and development is only 0.6% of the GDP. So that need to improve. If you talk about the total expenditure on education, it's only 4%. We are trying to have, sir, you correct me if I'm wrong, we are trying to reach 6% through NEP. But if you talk about other countries, they are well above, more than 50% in some of the case, developed countries, So this is one area. So our research and development focus is need to be better. Because everybody is in a race to get quick success, as all of you know. I don't have to tell anything, you know it. You know the problem, you know the solution. The only thing is that how quickly we can implement those solutions. And it starts with me, not with the other one. Everybody wants the other one to do something. That will not happen. In family, this doesn't happen. Forget about other things. Government can do policies, but the execution is key. So second point is, what NEP does. NEP is trying to take higher education from the traditional autocratic way of delivering lectures and talks to a more holistic approach, where you'll be looking into education, health, wellness, mental well-being, social consciousness, and all those things. Combined together, that's a package. That's what is the intention. Now, NEP has got 4 pillars. First one is access. Everybody should access education. That's what Dr. Arun Kumar was talking about, 3 plus 12, 15 years. Equity, quality, accountability. Access, equity, quality, and accountability. So that's what the objective of NEP at higher education. The problem is not in higher education. My experience I have seen within these 2.5 decades. The problem is the primary education and school education. Because that's the building stage. Till, that 10 years old kid, whatever education you will give, if dad is giving right education, the child will treat the grandparents in a proper way. But if dad shows, disrespect to the grandparents and expects the kid to show the respect, that will not happen. You might have experienced that. So this is very important. Next is, if you talk about the NEP's intention in higher education. The NEP trying to reach the gross enrollment ratio. Now if you talk about it is around 26%. But we are trying to reach 50% by 30. So first is spending on research by creating a research foundation. Second is putting the gross enrollment ratio to 50%. Thereby we will create 3.5 crore seats in different colleges and colleges. I'm talking about higher education. Arun Kumar sir was talking about the 4-year process. Now what NEP will be going to do, so we are going into more holistic approach. If a student joins a 4-year course, first year is, suppose student doesn't want to continue after first year. It is certificate course. Second year, diploma. Third year, degree. Fourth year, research. If you complete 4 years of education, you can join masters and you can complete master in 1 year. If you complete 4 years of education, you can join PhD directly. So this is third. Fourth one is the multiple entry, multiple exit option. Anytime you can exit. So they are promoting entrepreneurship and a sense of, doing, that's the reason sir was complimenting Manuji. It's wonderful because how many people can do this? Everybody is running for a job, but everybody, will they get a job? It's very difficult. Your qualification is here, job is here, salary is here. So it's very difficult. So we need to inculcate this entrepreneurship, risk-taking ability. Even at the age of 50, somebody should think of starting a business and still be successful. Successful doesn't mean $100 million or unicorn. Success means if you're getting a lakh rupee or 2 lakh or 3 lakh or 4 lakh salary, why don't you earn in entrepreneurship as well? You can do it easily. You don't need money to start your entrepreneurship. You need idea, you need networking, and you can start it. So these value system NEP is trying to inculcate. The next one, I will conclude because I'm reaching my last 30 seconds. The next one is, NEP is trying to have proper regulation. So they are trying to, dismantle all these AICT, UGC and multiple forums. So they will be going to have Higher Education Commission of India. And this will not be applicable to medical and legal education, as you know. So what we will be going to have, 4 Higher Education Commission will be divided into 4 parts. The first part is National Higher Education Regulatory Council, first one. So that will be regulatory body. The second one is General Council for Standard Setting. It has to benchmark in standards. Because if that is not there, somebody is here, somebody is there. 50% of all these contribution fund is contributed by government, public unit, and these, the rest is contributed by private. I think private is more. The third one is, that will be a grant council. So first one is regulatory, second one will be standard, third will be grant, and the fourth one will be accreditation. That's what they're trying to do under one Higher Education Commission. So here I will stop. So let me conclude. So what NEP in higher education is trying? One, there are a lot of other things like credit system, credit bank, DigiLocker and all those things that we will talk sometime later. So higher education, NEP, what they're trying to make it a holistic education. That should not be one way. So it has to be participatory. The second thing, what they're trying to do, they are trying to consolidate the regulatory bodies. Rather than having many people controlling many things, many circulars, they will be going to have a central one and divide it into 4 parts, as I said. Third one is they want to have a national research foundation. So they want to promote research and development. Because if you don't promote research and development, it's very difficult because people will have their own way of thinking into, so that will be difficult. The fourth one is they want to increase the gross enrollment ratio to 50%, which is very, very important. As Dr. Arun Kumar Rath was telling, if a society is not properly educated, not qualified, mark his words. So he is a master speaker. So if you mark his words, he has not said qualified. There's a difference between qualification and education. Even after 20 qualifications, you might not be the properly educated person. Educated person knows what to do, what not to do, right? So there is a difference between qualification, education. So we need to have educated people if India wants to reach that level. So that's where I will stop. And the major focus of NEP is to promote digital education through MOOCs, Swayam portal. You can register, you can take certificate courses, because this era belongs to knowledge era. And knowledge is always dynamic, it's not static. So whatever qualification you might be having, if you are not upgrading yourself, even teachers, principals, directors, policy makers, decision makers, then it's very difficult to visualize what the young audience really requires. Because, when kids behave in a particular way, we say, hey, you are not reading, you are not doing. That's not their problem. Because, there are two sides of the brain. One is left side, which is rational, logical, mathematics, numbers, and all those things. So these guys will be very easy, they will be feeling very easy there. They'll be excited, physics and all those things. The right side brain is dance, music, activities, entrepreneurship, So you need to identify your kid belongs to which side. If your kid belongs to this side, dance, music, all this side, if you force this guy into physics, this guy will fail. So as a parent, I think, I will left my, I will stop my deliberation with a question to all of you. What do you think? Should there be a national education policy for parents as well, along with kids? Please ponder over this question, answer it. Not even parents, even grandparents. Because we say memes, culture flows. So whatever the kid sees from grandparents and parents, they will follow that. So if parent is himself or herself in a dance, music and those profession, and he is asking or she is asking, you become a doctor, how come the person has not seen blood and surgery and all those things, So the moment Dettol smell will come, this guy will say, no, I don't want to be a doctor. So try to identify what your kids actually, once you identify, put them in the right direction, society will be more happy and successful. If you put a dance guy into physics, I think society will be disturbed. So I'll stop here. National education policy is a wonderful initiative. As a teacher, I feel really excited to see the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Swain. Actually, we have running short of time, and there's another session, if I'm not mistaken, before lunch, because we have preponed our session, so another 10 minutes late. But what Dr. Rath tells, we like, when he chairs any session, I have seen last 3 years, audience should ask questions, more participation. Before that, yes, I know. Before that, I will tell Prakash, because my batchmate from JNU, Alumni and Steel Authority. Another thing I will tell before, because it is very difficult task he has to tell, because now the students have passed out from school. Now they are joining the life skill, because the main purpose of this NEP 2020 is to teach the life skills and to prepare India to skilling India, all the hidden agenda and also open agenda. And he was the head of HR in Raulka Steel Plant for 30 years. Not only that, one line, with his permission, he is also associated indirectly with sports associations all over India. Madam Minoti Mahapatra, the first Arjuna Awardee, 80, she is a wife. So he also travels the youth, he meets the youth. Am I correct? You meet the youth all over India when you attend meetings, sports authority, this, that. So in that context, Prakash, when you speak, just permit me 1 minute, because we are from the same background. When you speak, you tell, after passing out from the educational institutions, when the engineers comes, management trainees, and all the people come, then what is their values and ethics? Because they forget. When we got training, same batch, training in Steel Authority, the first teacher, the trainer told, you forget you have what learned. You forget. Last 30 years, 20 years, 21 age, you forget. Now you have to work and you have to obey all these things, okay? So the society, when a trainee joins the society, just again half minute, an anecdote. The 3 types of people. I was a chief vigilance officer in Midhani, Ministry of Defense. We talk in Vigilance Awareness Week. Goat type, cow type, and buffalo type. When goat goes to drink water, the goat will not enter the water. He will just stand outside of the water pond, then try to, he will not disturb others. He will take water. When cow goes to drink water to a pond or any water resource, only 2 legs she will enter and not disturb, only take little bit disturb that water will there. But when a buffalo will enter to drink water, he will not take water only. He will spoil the water, he will play with the water, he will sleep on the mud, everything is spoiled. Unfortunately, we have many cows, I mean, anecdote, but buffaloes are less in number, but they are ruling the world. They are spoiling themselves, corruption, whatever you call it, values and ethics. In that context, please tell, address how you train the young minds just passing out from the institutes.
Very good afternoon to all. Respected Dr. Arun Kumar and all my respected elders sitting in front, my lovely students. See, it's a vast subject to speak on NEP. Like Dr. Arun Kumar said, it's a pioneer and amazing act introduced in India and to make India a global leader on this. But the whole issue is here right now that drawing a first line from Dindayal. As this, I should have addressed Dr. Dindayal. I deliberately didn't do, I called Dindayal. In Europe and America, people don't say Stephen Covey. Does he write Dr. Stephen Covey? He says Stephen Covey, PhD. But we call it because we have still the hangovers of the British colony to arrogate ourselves that we are PhD scholars by writing something doctor. And many people confuse. If you go to embassy or passport office, they are confused whether you are actually a doctor or Dr. so-and-so. So that is what is, we have to go out of that kind of thing right now. Now coming to, these days, in our time, we used to go to library to study. We used to have the books. These days, you young people, I mean the professors who are also coming here and joined, they know pretty well it's basically about Google and Wikipedia search. Think of any Tom that's still into the mobile smartphone and look for the Google and find out what is what. So the knowledge is at hand. The knowledge and the knowing things is at hand. Technology had advanced. The pace of technology and the pace of knowledge and information is vast nowadays. So what's more important is imparting or inculcating the values and able-bodied person's ethos, the kind of ethics, cultural I am in a profession, I was in a profession to recruit many of the passed out MBAs and engineers. And when they face board, they post themselves. In fact, people ask me very honestly, those who have qualified themselves very well in the all India basis, there is hardly anything to interview them. Only we have to see their composure and how they face it. We don't have to really screen out them to know their knowledge because knowledge is already tested. We have to see only their composure and a kind of feelings and attitude and a kind of reflex to a situation. That's all. But when they join, like Dr. Jibitesh said, you have to really work and more challenging it out all of you to join a manufacturing setup. When engineers join, there are a lot of expectations at home, at society, and they themselves. They said that we are now engineer babus. They have to feel that they are going to be part of the Indian production system and value system by enriching the GNP, the national product, the GDP, the national gross domestic product of the country. Whether it is a steel or NTPC or power sector. Most of them these days, the challenge for all of us is to recruit and more challenging is to retain. So recruitment retention is the challenge here. But most aspect of the managers in the plant and to some extent in the teachers to equip themselves, to enable themselves, to train themselves how to impact that kind of thing. Like, is somebody, I don't know how many of you know, in cocoa ovens plant, where the tons of coal is put into the oven to boil it to 1100 degree temperature to convert it to a coke. That coke is the feeding material for the blast furnace to melt iron ores to liquid iron. So that kind of thing, the person who is looking after them administratively, I make it a point that they must go to the shop floor. Shop floor means where the production takes place, to know the difficulties and the situations and the kind of technology adverse situations the workman faces. So that is how the value system comes. If the workman is having a grievance and he knocks into your office and you are busy for a legal paper which you have to make a brief for Supreme Court or High Court, you are busy because your boss wants that to be done immediately. And if a person who has come from the blast furnace or cocoa ovens, he knocks at your door to meet you, to tell out his grievance, you said, wait for a minute. You are not paid for that. You are paid to look after the employee's grievance. So the first thing is, take beside the urgency of the High Court matter or Supreme Court matter, because you have gone yourself to the shop floor to see how difficult it is to produce and to supervise them. If a person has come all the way from the shop floor to see you, you have to find out time to see and listen to them. So this means indirectly what I'm proposing here, that you have to develop a value system in you to worth your money or salary, to look after, to listen to the person who has come to see you. Handle the grievance by talking to the person. Most of the patients tell, doctors saw me and prescribed by just hearing a little bit. In the doctor's duty is to see how much time I can spend in hearing. And even if he says, take a little bit of water, just water, you'll be all right, that works as wonders. So, point of telling is here, we have to impart certain things. And the imparting is, in a way, inculcating the habit part of it. And that happens when you really do something on your own. Talking to the higher education part, and to enable them for the job, we are only equipping them for some skills, some knowledge, imparting some knowledge. Knowledge in any case is available, but we are trying, the management schools or the universities are trying to just impart knowledge. That's how we have been groomed, but we have groomed in a different way. We have been groomed in a different way in the sense that we know how to impart respect, how to respect people, and how to listen to the people, how to be obedient. Like Madam Sujata Sahu had said, in the first few years, it gives a lot of knowledge, lot of weight to the students to learn and to make it habit. So the formation of the habit is much more important. And that habit comes in our NEP. My address is here to most of the parents and the elders to see that they learn certain etiquettes, certain regards, respects for the elders. It's just not getting an order and carrying out. How many of you know, if you have gone to the 5-star hotel to take food, after the bill is passed and you pay the bill, some of you are so habituated to give tips to the person. But in a smaller hotel, if you go and even a dosa is served to you, you forget to give tips because there is no system. You know why you give tips? You give stuffs, one thing for your status, second thing, this is the habit, the run of the things, and third thing is that you are really feeling little bit happy or obliged to somebody. If the person who comes to serve you, if you just push things with a sound, you don't feel like giving him a tips. So this service rendered by the person was supposed to be rewarded, and that's what you give. But then, most of us are more weighted by a feeling that we have money to give tips, and that is what we are giving. That's not the story, my dear. The whole issue is to learn how to behave yourself, how to learn behavior, how to learn the values, and that comes at the higher education stage. Because the early stage, in any case, has been molded. Right now, the challenge is about the people to make them certain amount of etiquettes, behavioral changes, and to take them. And most challenging part in the service sector also, the trainers. We train them certain skills to operate our managerial administrative jobs to do. But most challenging part comes to handling them and to develop their soft attitude or their attitude towards the people. Listen them carefully. They should learn how to listen. And that is what is more important. And that is going to be this 15 years course of the new education policy. With little bit of knowledge being hired and borrowed from Dr. Arun Rath during the formation time, and little bit of my own preparation from knowing, I could know that NEP could have been done a little early, but it is done. But the challenge part is the execution of the NEP, the execution of the implementation of the system. So my appeal to all of you who are potential trainers and parents, see that your child learns, and the training of the teachers is more important to train them to impart this kind of value system there. I'm not elaborating much more, but why I'm saying this, people have to be groomed to earn money. And earn money is in many ways. People should enjoy that thing. In our time, excepting studying and equipping themselves to earn money, there was nothing. Nowadays, there are so many initiative and inspiring things for all kinds of professions. Be a sports person, be a writer, be a painter, be even a film actor, be even a nurse or a doctor. All professions are highly rewarding. If you go to the professorship these days, it's amply rewarded. And there is a demand for take a larger chunk of the GNP for the education sector, which will much more be rewarding in the future. So the future posing a rosy picture, I will tell that at least go for that value system. Don't get tricked by the thing that we don't get enough security, financial security. It is all there. It is all there. So you have to really find and bring yourself as a good human being. That should be the NEP real implementation part. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash. Now the questions, how should you open? Just one point I want to make. Many friends are there, I know some names, and very senior people in life. Because now the impact of values and ethics as per NEP, what they'll do, they'll go to the society ultimately. In that context, before throwing the house open, sir, I want to ask you one question, because you're the star speaker and the architect of this NEP. A new feature of NEP, which are not earlier there, this pre-primary stage. In the case of malnutrition or nutrition, all this SDG you are talking, sir, self-development, sustainable development goal. SDG 4 talks about quality education, but SDG 2 talks about nutrition, zero hunger. In that light, because bhuvakita king nakaroti papang, a child has empty belly. I have seen myself in Bastar, in that tribal zone. The mother, can you believe, mother will not give her, the milk of the cow to the child. The only place in the world. She know now also. She know that milk of the cow means for her calf. So I can't give the mother cow's milk to my child. She will give salpi because there has no food. Salpi means the local brewery. She will sleep. The child will sleep. This is the ethics and values they follow till now. I have seen there. In that light, the malnutrition, so we did a lot of CSR activities, how to feed because midday meal is there, midday scheme is there. At 1 o'clock, he or she will get food. The child go to school, but in the morning, empty stomach, so we started giving the breakfast, have the tutors, engage them for 2 hours, then they will go to school. So this is the ground reality in Odisha, in Bastar, in any backward state. In that line, sir, we got Nobel Prize, World Food Program got Nobel Prize 2 years back. And the director, editor told that food for progress and peace. In that line, NEP 2020, they have included this pre-primary, Anganwadi, all the things. How it will be effective and how it is considering the ground reality, because Sir has worked as also education secretary in Bihar, remote area, and all this, rural development, all this. In that light, can you throw some light how that new feature of NEP 2020 pre-primary stage is very important and help the secondary and primary school education?
Okay, thank you, Jivitesh. Now, I forgot to tell you one thing, then that when I was piloting the bill for right to education in 2007-8, simultaneously there was a parallel scheme which is integral to the right to education, is universalizing the midday meal scheme. Those days, about 30% of the schools, only 30% of the schools were covered by government budgeted free midday meal schools in the midday meal scheme in the schools. Now, when right to education was introduced, simultaneously I introduced another, it's not a bill, it's a government program to not only universalize the elementary school, class 1 to class 8 through Act, but through government order, universalized nutrition program. So from that day, 2008 till today, right to education by law and the midday meal program by government action, universalized in every school. And you'll be happy to know that today in the elementary schools, that is class 1 to class 8, close to 15 crore children are having hot cooked midday meal in the schools. Of course, private schools are not in the list, because the philosophy is that private schools, you pay already some amount of fees, which government reimburses to some extent, but you are paying. So private schools have not yet been introduced in the ambit of midday meal scheme, but all the state funded schools are part of midday meal scheme. And the problem now is that I had the same problem, that when the budget of midday meal scheme went up from 2,000 crore per year to 8,000 crore per year in 2008, is now about 15,000 crore per year. Mind you, this is supposed to be the biggest lunch program in the world. No country has given so much importance to feeding the children, because if you don't, there is a concept called classroom hunger. The child feels hungry in the classroom, in empty stomach. So that's been neutralized by the midday meal scheme. And what is important now is to strengthen it, because the deficiency of protein is still visible. So they have to give more protein in the midday meal scheme. And local food, in Karnataka ragi, in Rajasthan jawar, in Odisha rice, local food with a daily menu printed at the entrance. What menu is given on which day is printed and displayed on the, there's a lot of chance of corruption, I don't know, but when you have a 15 crore feeding program, but even if somebody asks me a question, then I said even if 70% is okay, it's still okay, they accepted, yes. Even half of the schools running midday meal program round the year is a success. So now the report says, CAG report says about 80% success. I think it's a big success. But we have to strengthen, and by giving protein, because again, anemia, malnutrition, protein, other supplements must be given. And this must work with Anganwadi centers side by side. And once you have preschool education universalized, I think the feeding program will also be in the preschool program also, so it will be universal. Any more questions?
Thank you, boss, because the next session will start, and it is we have also got sufficient time. That's a prime time. It's a prime subject. No wonder it's a prime time we got. In fact, my Piyush was there, he's the principalship. Yeah, please, one question we want, because it will be incomplete, no? About the youngsters, yesterday, day before yesterday, 50 students were there average, but today I don't know, very few students are there. Madam was last 3 days, she must be the management. Audience may ask. Okay.
But they must be right.
Right.
Right to ask.
Right to ask. Any question from the last question? Please.
No, originally it was 12 years, 1 to 12. But they said we don't have funds. So they made it 8 years, so I cannot do much about it because I am not the, I can't pass an act. So, but fortunately, NEP has gone beyond that. 8 years because of 15 years time, what they could not do in 2008, they have done it now. From -3, that means preschool 3 years, 1 to 12 plus 3 years, 15 years time there will be compulsory and free education. No, why? Why I said, is it still, the parliament has to again amend the right to education from 8 years to 15 years time. It's an act. Government wants it, but government should, parliament should. But then when you do it, from 4% to 6% budget, when you do it, but I think it should be done, hopefully.
Thank you all members, because we are already time, but to conclude in one line that NEP 2020 values and ethics will be there. There is a fight between your intellect and heart. There should be a balance. Buddhi and Vivek. What is it?
Very short.
Okay.
My question is directed towards Dr. Rath. Sir, do you consider our values, or you say Indian values, static or dynamic?
Well, values have to be both static and dynamic. Family bond. Can you break it? It cannot. It should not. So this is static. And dynamic is that gives some flexibility to children. Both. So you have to have both values. Static and dynamic together.
From my experience as a teacher, as a journalist and a social worker, I have come across things where some values which we have inculcated in ourselves are no more valid now. Values are changing. We are facing problem bringing up our children because we do not know exactly what to tell them. So,
social norms do change. What is ethics? Ethics is not a law. Ethics is changing norm of society. Like your child marriage. It was okay 100 years back. Today society has not accepted, but law has accepted. So even law and society are having different points of view. Child marriage still goes on because they think it's okay.
So
therefore,
one more question which is related to this. When you say Indian values, can you distinguish between Indian values and other values of Muslim countries? There are certain universal values, human values, which are always there in all countries, in all civilizations.
In Ramayana,
But in the name of
in Ramayana, when Rama was asked to go to forest, he had a right to question that. He would have questioned it. No, I am the eldest. I have a right to become the king. But he had followed duties. The duties become more important than rights. Isn't it? But therefore, the constitution has amended to make a place for fundamental duties also, not rights alone. So look at our own value systems. Are we going for rights only or duties also? Ramayana says duties. Throughout the duty, which is more superior than rights. So therefore, we need to learn, but Mahabharata is different. Because Mahabharata is a complex situation. There they said, no, my right to become king. Duryodhana said, my right to become king. Who are you? So how Ramayana and Mahabharata was different times, the society was different. So it is that way dynamic. Both static and dynamic, you will see. Ultimately, the society will accept what is a norm. And it's very difficult question.
But who decides it?
No, society.
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 Society is a very vague word.
True. But if most of the people feel like go to
to a small village, the child marriage is okay. Because the people there feel child is okay. Law is not there. But they do child marriage. With that community in the area, think it is a good thing.
Those are the cases of aberrations.
Very difficult to say.
No, those are aberrations, like sati and all that. These are aberrations of our religion or culture. We cannot cite it as values.
No. I said it varies from place to place. But entire country doesn't accept that. So they are forced by law.
Yes.
Because society having different norms. So if it's problematic, then law must come.
Don't you think?
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, we'll discuss.
Sorry for the interruption, sir. We have to stop the
It is
session.
over. The session is over.
Session we have to stop.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all the audience and thank you all the panelists for this valuable discussion. Also, moving towards the next session.
This session was supported by Indian Oil Corporation Limited as our associate sponsor. We are grateful to IOCL.